right, guys, welcome back to Functional Fitness Weekly. This is episode 3, I guess you could say 3.5, with Coach Kirk and Coach Mario ready to get onto the fitness world. And of course, the Olympics is the first thing that, of course, we should be talking about. And that's the only thing we should be focusing on for the most part for the next couple of weeks with these episodes. I mean, it only happens once every 4 years with the Summer Olympics, and of course the Winter Olympics every 4 years as well. But they're in intervals, so it's every 2 years there's a different Olympics going on, whether it's a summer or winter. And us living in Florida, the Summer Olympics make more sense for us, but the Winter Olympics are really fun to watch, especially ice hockey for me. That's always a good one. But we tried recording this yesterday. We did record it, but we had some technical difficulties. So this is our second iteration of getting in this, and so hopefully we have a little better luck this time around. Mario, how's your weekend?
It was good, buddy. We spent our weekend in a staycation up in Estero for our anniversary / baby moon, which my wife taught me that term. So it was our last final hoorah before the little guy comes. So we're excited. We just were in the hospital this morning as well, or not the hospital, just the bi-monthly checkups.
Yeah.
5.5 pounds, bro. 5.3. He's already weighing with 6 weeks to go. So he's got a big head, and he's predicted at 8.5 pounds if he comes to term. So everything's good, man. He's healthy.
So
and
that's awesome. It's a big boy.
It's crazy. He's gonna be a big boy, big head for sure.
Well, yeah, he gets that from you, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I do got that big head.
You need that snapback hat
because I'm smart, bro.
You know that one size doesn't fit all.
I'm smart, bro. Hey, so what's up with you? How was your weekend?
It was good. Barbell Club started up this weekend. It was full. It was crack-lacking, people getting PRs. That's always good. Yeah, just trying to get some sleep. Last night I got a lot of sleep, which was awesome. So I'm ready for the work.
So how does that work, bro? Like some night you just don't know until the night happens, like how much sleep you're gonna get?
Yesterday I woke up and I felt like I didn't get any sleep. I probably got about 6 or 7 hours. And last night I probably got 7 or 8, and I feel refreshed. So I don't know. I don't understand how the sleeping works when you have a baby. So you just try to get as much as you can in. That's all I got to say.
Jeez, are you a napper?
No. Well, I would be if I had like afternoons, but morning naps, nah.
No, it doesn't work.
Nah. My goal is to get the baby down for a morning nap. She just woke up like 20 minutes ago. She was down for 2 hours, which is a really good nap. So
right,
I'll take
nice.
That. All right, what was that?
I'm gonna take some tips from you here real quick when I'm walking in the office and I'm like, bro, I need some sleep.
I'll be able to give you some tips, but every kid's different, so you can just kind of learn on your own, bro.
Yep.
Okay. Olympics are going on. We just mentioned that. This first article here is just bringing light to our first medal or gold medal winner, Virginia Thrasher. Bringing light to the sport, which I didn't even know existed. Yesterday, or a couple of days ago, I was watching the first, I think he was Vietnamese gold medalist who won the same sport, but obviously for men. So, but I didn't get a chance to see Virginia. Apparently she's a beast with that accuracy, man. But yeah, it's off to a good start. Ladies soccer off to a good start. Looks like some politicians are down there. But yeah, what did you want to say just about the opening?
No, it was exciting, man. It's one of my favorite things to watch. And yeah, the coverage is awesome. I think NBC is doing a really awesome job. I'm actually been watching a lot of it online because they're covering a lot of that for free. So you can go to their website and they got some really cool stuff. There's a lot of live feeds that you can watch from different sports, because the problem when you're watching it on TV, you only get to see whatever they're showing. Right. So being online, there's at least a half dozen live feeds going on right now. So it's pretty neat to watch, and it's all free. So it's cool, man. I've enjoyed it. I love sports. I love watching pure athleticism, and that's what the Olympic offers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Best athletes in the world. So, all right, guys. Moving on to the topic, or it's on NBC, .com still. But all the main USA athletes you should be watching. And the picture it has Carrie Walsh Jennings, who's been in like 5 Olympics or something like that. She's up there, man. I think she's in her late 30s, early 40s. Tons of gold medals. And then you got Simone Biles, which you mentioned last night. She got her first gold. Is that what you said?
No, it's still qualifiers. So tonight is finals,
tonight.
But this girl is a prodigy. She's supposed to win 5 gold medals in individual and all around, and there's no one, they said, that will even compete with her. And from what I saw last night, the clip, she was on point. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited to watch her.
Dude, yeah. Well, what time is that tonight? Do you know?
It's actually this afternoon. I was just looking on the schedule because you can look at it by team. It starts at 3, and I think that's individual, and then our team first, then individual. So, yeah, I'm excited to watch that. Or if I miss it, we'll replay that junk.
Yeah, man, it's exciting. Yeah, and we have a special appreciation for gymnastics, just because. I mean, we strive just for the basics in gymnastics and in the CrossFit world, doing push-ups, pull-ups, jumping. And these athletes are taking all of those skills to the highest physical level for a human being, and it's just impressive to watch.
Well, it reminds me of that term that Greg Glassman, continually strive to push for virtuosity, making the common uncommonly well. And that's that kind of idea where it says, man, they make that look so easy, and that's the pure definition of virtuosity. In the Olympics, my favorite event is always gymnastics because they make human movement look so easy and so beautiful to watch. So I always joke that in my past life I would have been a gymnast for sure because there's so many great physical attributes about gymnastics that we can all relate to doing CrossFit. So I love it.
Another sport that I started watching a little bit last night, and this isn't about Team USA because there was no USA athletes in it, but applies to CrossFitters, is elite weightlifters, Olympic level weightlifters. I was watching I don't remember what the kilos were. It was 56 men's kilos. I think it was 122 pounds. And these guys are snatching 315.
It's crazy.
Clean and jerking 350 plus. And
I'm just thinking that was my weight class in high school.
And it was pretty exciting because the final 2 athletes, one a North Korean, his last attempt on clean and jerk set the world record that had stood for 16 years, and then the Chinese guy came up afterwards and then beat the new world record. I mean, it's just perfect technique. So
what class was that? I gotta watch that.
I think it was 56 kilograms, something like that.
All right, I'm gonna Google that.
These guys are tiny.
It makes them appreciate that movement even more because when we look at not absolute strength, obviously those numbers are gonna come from the super heavyweights.
Right.
But if you look at relative strength, and there's equations for all that crap online, but those guys probably have one of the greatest relative strengths. I mean, they're cleaning 2.5 times body weight. You know what I mean? So it's unbelievable.
Yep. Well, yeah, and that's in the weightlifting world. They have those high relative strength, but like we mentioned, gymnasts are insanely strong for their body weight too. It's just a different application of that strength. So
right. It's cool to watch.
Yeah. So other athletes to watch: Katie Ledecky. You said last night. I wasn't able to watch it, but I watched some of her prelims. She's just crushing people by
19 years old.
4 or 5 seconds. And it looks like she got her first gold here last night. But
Phelps too. They just won. He won another gold and a team 4x100 freestyle.
Oh,
so
that's
that was
a fun
cool.
one to watch. I'll have to try to watch that on a replay.
Watch the replay on that. They are fast. I think he took the second leg, and they were slightly winning, and then he comes out with a full length lead. So we won that by a good 2 seconds for sure, which is a lot in swimming.
A sport I also caught last night, just randomly, was doubles tennis. I mean, we've been playing a little bit of tennis recently, so I mean, I was instantly sucked in. I'm sure you've heard of Andy Murray from Great Britain.
Yeah, yeah.
right? One of the best players in the world. Well, him and his brother. Apparently, he has a brother that's decent. Like they were seeded number 2
Hmm.
overall, and they got taken out by a couple of Brazilians.
Dude, there's a lot of upsets in tennis. I
Yeah,
just saw that
the Williams sisters.
Djokovic just lost. He was
Oh,
ranked
what?
number one.
Nadal,
Yeah,
my boy
he
Nadal, though.
lost. He lost. And I think the doubles, Serena and
They
Venus,
did.
they lost
They
in the
lost the
doubles in the
first
first round.
round. It's
It's crazy.
crazy.
Anything can happen, bro, when you
Yeah.
want that gold, bro, when the
Well,
pride of your country's on the line.
and I don't know much about tennis, but I think it requires a little bit different skill sets and athlete body types for doubles than it does singles. So
Definitely, but I mean, those girls were dominant for
yeah,
years.
yeah, still no excuse for the Williams sisters. I mean, come on, no one should even be close. But
Upsets, man.
upset city. Um, but yeah, I mean, we'll keep touching on the Olympics. Uh, Real quick before we move on to the next article here. Um, I have the medal count now. Let me refresh this. It might be updated.
Last time I saw it was 12, and then China's at like 9
Yeah.
for, right?
Yeah, so USA, it's up here now. USA is 12 overall with
Sweet.
3 gold, 5 silver, 4 bronze. Italy is 3-3-2, and then China's 3-2-3. So we're off to an early but healthy lead. I'll take
Killing it.
that all day. And then behind China, Japan, Australia, South Korea are coming in. But yeah, hopefully that lead just keeps growing as the days go on, especially with Simone Biles coming in tonight. Just
Have that basketball crushed it too in the first round, like won by like
oh
60
yeah,
points.
they play tonight again. I don't remember against who.
Spain. I think it's Spain.
Oh, okay, that'd be a good one. So yeah, we play again tonight. I'll have to look at what time that is, but man, I'm sure they're going to come out and crush it again. Uh, but moving on, do you want to go to the military times one?
Yeah, I thought this was a really great conversation to have because it's something that, we have pushed really hard here in our own program is to really not just see improvements in fitness, but in body composition and relating that to health. We've said this over and over. We can easily get people stronger and faster and better equipped to move,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes that doesn't directly translate into better improvement in body composition. So this article is really interesting because they're talking about the military is really looking at the way they're assessing body composition and trying to find a better way,
Mm-hmm.
not only for the obesity epidemic that we're dealing with, but understanding that probably the way they were doing was though that it was time efficient to assess the body composition they use. It's probably not what they're coming to understand is it is not the most effective means.
Right, and as you pointed out when we talked about this yesterday, their way of measuring body fat, which you can't do really very well from it, is measuring their neck girth and their waist girth.
Yeah, they call that the tape test in the military. Yeah.
And that, I mean, most people don't store a whole lot in their neck to begin with. And if you have a really strong neck, if you think of like a football
Like this,
player,
yeah. I mean,
yeah, I
dude,
mean,
that's
like,
my.
yeah, like a
We
Mario
talk
right there.
about that all the time with me weighing, trying to find a button down. It just
Yeah,
doesn't work.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you gotta have. It's like, and yeah, you gotta get the XL around the neck or the 18, 19-inch neck.
Yeah, it's up
Um,
there. And but we used to train that. I mean, you could go ahead and just do some neck extensions and really develop those neck muscles. So
hmm
it's a huge skewed test, and it's one they've used for a really long time. And they do it because it's cheap, right?
It's
And
fast.
it's very efficient. Yeah, it's very fast to do it. Get a tape measure, measure neck and waist, and then get a number, and that number is your data point for body
hmm
fat. And it doesn't make any
It
sense.
doesn't make. Yeah, it's just it's very antiquated, and their levels for acceptable fitness at this point in time, which will be reworked, who knows to what. It probably will still be unsatisfactory for our wishes, but 26% for men and 36% for women. And that the military for years has been okay with that. And we know on the daily basis if our athletes ask us, hey, what percent for guys? If they ask us what percent body fat should we be, um, depending on age, sometimes it varies, but for the most part, I'll tell guys anywhere. End goal would be 10 to 15%. For ladies, a little bit wider scale. I would say upper teens to lower 20s would be end goal for most
Yeah,
females.
I would say, yeah, 15 to 25. There's a 10%
Yeah,
range there. Yeah.
and so yeah, it's just
And that's not elite. That's just healthy and average. I mean,
yeah,
elite, are guys, elite guys like CrossFitters are 12% or under,
right.
and girls are under
Oh yeah,
15% too. So we're just talking like just fit, like being fit. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, my concern with this article is there's really not there wasn't like, okay, this is what they're going to do. It just talks about them understanding that something needs to
Mhm.
change. But according to the current standards, the article states that 75% of Americans are ineligible and unfit for duty to even apply to the military because of their current body fat. And that is
Right.
sad. And so it's saying, so what do they do? Do they lower the standards? I think they're low as they are, 26%,
Oh yeah.
36%. So something needs to change. And it's not like, I understand, I was in the military, I get it. Like, they're getting people coming in at their current state. It wasn't that like they could control them before they ever joined the military. They're trying to fix something that's already broken. And so here they are trying to say, okay, this is how we're getting them when they sign up. What are we going to do about that now?
Hmm.
And there's standards. I mean, you got to go through physical assessments before you even sign on the dotted line to see if you're eligible. So, but something needs to change. Something needs to change drastically, even before they come in. And we know that it starts at home. It starts with what they're doing and
Hmm.
controlling and putting in their own mouths. They're agreeing that 75% of Americans are already ineligible,
Yeah. And that's too bad. I wonder what those numbers would have been um, 10, 20, 30 years ago, I'm
Yeah, those
sure
would be interesting data points.
I'm sure in the 80s and the 70s, we didn't, I would say the majority would actually be able to pass these really lax standards. So, but yeah,
Well,
man.
it's changing. The times are
Right.
changing, and they get it. Even their fitness protocols are changing. So,
Hmm.
I love that they're being flexible to that, because the military is typically very traditional, and it's very difficult
Hmm.
for them to change their protocols.
Yep.
Um, but it's definitely changing, and I hope
Yeah.
sooner than later.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll try to follow up with this if we ever get information on how they decide to update their testing standards. But our last article for discussion: uh, too much exercise may make you grow old, um, and that in the fitness industry, all we hear is exercise more, you'll be in better shape, you'll look better, you'll feel better, and you'll live longer. Um, I have always stuck to exercise will make you feel better and give you better quality of life. We cannot guarantee anyone's going to live longer. That's not our decision to make, right? We have no idea. But with good fitness, we can um, look and feel as healthy as possible. But what this article is going into is specifically which styles of fitness and exercise programs lead to making you look old and age quicker.
Yeah, I mean, it's just two different philosophies. One says, the endurance community says longer is better for you, right?
Yep.
And then there's our community that says less work, higher intensity is better for you. And so these two counter arguments. I think rationally, people believe more is better, right? They say, hey, listen, the benefits of exercising for 20 minutes will do this. And so we say, well, those are the benefits for 20 minutes. Well, why don't I do that for 40 minutes and get double the results?
Right.
But unfortunately, as we know, and through our experience, that is not true. The cyclical effect of high repetitious exercise, like LSD, long slow distance training, or, I think what happens in CrossFit is they indirectly create LSD type of training where they're doing 30, 40, 50-minute workouts, what we sexy workouts. These are workouts that everyone wants to do because they're just tough and they're intense and they're grueling. And they think that the more of those type of workouts they do, the better in shape they're going to get. And what we've seen is that's caused immense amount of burnout, overuse injuries, things like that.
Right.
And we've always stuck to this idea is that the CrossFit template that was given to us works. So why stop changing it to curtail to our membership base?
Mm-hmm.
People come to us to get them in shape, and we know the protocols that's going to do it. Do I think there's anything exciting about running a 1 mile time trial followed by, multiple sets of 500 meter row? No, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it's important for them at that moment that we give it to them. And so what we try to do with our membership base, like as you experience, as a combo that we always have, is to get them to understand that like there's no one perfect workout. That workout coupled with a sexy workout coupled with gymnastic work for the week, all these things put together make a really good, well-rounded fitness protocol.
Absolutely. And the last sentence sums it up pretty easily. It says, "Don't work the body too hard, work it smart, and watch it age gracefully." You don't need to say much more than that. I mean, rest is super important, recovery is super important, and that's what people often forget. They think they can just go, go, go. Oh, I have a little pain. I'm going to push through it. I'll be fine, because the pain goes away once you start exercising a lot of the times. And then, we see overuse injuries. And then there's a picture of a bunch of elite marathoners on this, and none of them have a physique that I'm jealous of. I'll just say that.
Well, and that's what the article does is it gives a theory of why the too much exercise makes people look older. That cortisol effect that they believe might be breaking down collagen and elasticity of the skin, and that's why a lot of those endurance athletes have a lot of wrinkles. They say that sun exposure is detrimental to them as well. So their protocol is one that we encourage. It's shorter workouts, compound exercises, and couple that in with yoga, or what I would say just stretching, right?
Yep.
Like getting in there and mobilizing themselves.
Yep.
And what we understood about CrossFit initially is that aerobic training does not improve anaerobic type work. So high intensity sprint, all out efforts. It does not, no matter how you cut it. But vice versa is true, that anaerobic work, doing those shorter intensity bouts, 10, 20, 30, 90, up to 90 seconds of high intensity work, followed by rest, will improve your endurance capacity. And for me, that's appealing, because it's saying that I can improve my aerobic capacity with half the amount of work that I traditionally thought it would take.
Yeah, and just another component of that high intensity interval, that's weightlifting as well. Weightlifting has a super high intensity for just short amount of time with huge rest intervals to get recovery. And we know that endurance athletes who incorporate just a little bit of strength, so like a weightlifting program, into their regimen, become way better endurance runners. They're stronger than everyone else that they run with. So they're able to, at the end of races, they have the extra strength to go faster. If that's what, if an athlete wants to be an endurance runner, they can be better by doing less and just getting stronger. So
for sure, a pure strength and conditioning protocol, and our conditioning pieces we try to keep as short as possible. And when we say cardio, I think there's this huge misconception is it's a huge synonymous term with cardio and running. They think, how do you improve your cardio? Go run. Yeah. And I think we say this all the time. That's a terrible idea, because it assumes that you understand how to run. And if you're going to go from like the couch to 5K protocol, you're typically overweight, you haven't done any type of running whatsoever, and all of a sudden you're going to keep compounding more mileage week after week to run a 5K, and you're overweight and don't actually have the technical skill of running. It's a terrible idea. And so what CrossFit does really, really well is I can produce cardiovascular effects without running a lap. And I don't know about you, but that is amazingly appealing to me. And that's what we try to push, that running more doesn't mean you're going to immediately improve your cardiorespiratory endurance. I can do that even better and build strength through what you've been talking about.
Right. Absolutely. And then another reason why these endurance athletes look so sick, we talked a little bit on the cortisol. I mean, there's a lot that goes into the hormones of it. But I have two other ones that might make some sense. Is that a lot of them have really low muscle mass. And the reason they have low muscle mass is because they will, in the pursuit of elite endurance, their bodies take out inefficiencies. So large muscles are inefficient for really long aerobic exercises. So when we think of old people, we think of really undertoned muscle. They don't have a lot. They lose their muscle because they're no longer using it as much as they were when they're younger, and they're probably not eating so well. So most, I guess, if you think of skinny old people, just look like a skeleton a lot of the times, right? So I think that's one reason endurance athletes, or at least endurance runners, do not look young. Another one is they're constantly dehydrated. I mean, that's another thing that's not good for the body. Their skin's going to look a little sunk in. It's just, and their color's not going to be the greatest as well. So I think those are two things with the hormonal effects that makes it three things that, I mean, these people are not going to look young. They're not going to look all that healthy, which is scary because all they do, I mean, their main focus is just to exercise as much as possible or to run as much as possible, and they're not
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I say it all the time. If you're not getting paid to run, there's really no need to be putting in that much distance a week. I think anything more than 10 miles a week is just crazy talk. I mean, there's so much other things you can do to get greater benefits than just going out there and running 30, 40, 50 miles a week. So if people aren't getting paid to run that length, I would highly disregard it. I encourage our athletes to go out there and run for 20 minutes once a week. That's great. Like, I think people should learn how to, when you do CrossFit workouts and you work out for 30 minutes, you really are only working out for 20 because you're resting between transitions, you're stopping when you get tired. But slow distance like that once a week without stopping once it's a great capacity to have.
Right.
But the way they're doing it is extensive. It really is.
Yeah. But, hopefully, I mean, yeah, like you said, unless you're getting paid for it, or if you're a really good high school endurance athlete and you get a scholarship, that's getting paid for it. But if you're just doing it, for health, there are much, like we said over and over, there are much more effective things that you can do for your overall health and fitness.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, I think we can leave it at this, is that people need to learn how to listen to their bodies. How many athletes have we had in the last 5 years that have come to us that are endurance training, have physical pains from the actual volume of endurance training, but they don't stop doing the endurance training? Most of them. Yeah. And we're saying, you know what you need to do? You need to stop doing that until you get better. And they do not do it, and they get worse and worse and worse. And we can't, on paper, I can create the most amazing protocol for you to go from here to get to here. But the problem is your body says otherwise. And when it starts to say that, you have to learn how to listen to it, and I think stubbornness is a flaw of human nature. I think the more they get into it, the more they understand that they have to learn how to listen to our bodies. We'll be the first one to go 4 or 5 days a week, and then there'll be weeks you and I won't train for an entire week because we have this little ache or this knee's acting up. You have to listen to your body, man, and I can't teach people how to do that.
And that's I do have a slight issue with signing up for 5Ks. Of course, I don't like the idea of paying to just go run like a few miles. But when you sign up for a 5K, let's say it's in a couple months, and you haven't been running at all, and we talked about this a little bit, like your couch potato model. I mean, these people are trying to go out and run 3-4 days a week. All of a sudden, their body's just overtaxed, and they won't stop until they've completed the 5K. And by that time, they may have even signed up for another one. So, I mean, it's a lot to ask for the body, and not enough recovery and then not enough time to work up for something like a 5 or 10K for the common person.
Yeah, and I think if I were to make a recommendation for the common person, is they need to find a running coach. They need to find somebody
Yeah,
who knows the actual technique of running, because we'd be the first ones to say, right? Like, and I don't know where the disconnect is. If someone hurts themselves doing back squats, they understand that there was something they were doing with the back squat that caused them to get hurt, right?
absolutely.
But they're not making that connection with running, right?
Yep.
It's just not there. They start running and then they get hurt, and then they can't put it together that their actual
Right.
mechanical deficiency in that skill is causing them
Well,
pain.
I think the reason they think that way is as little kids we learn how to run. We don't learn how to like weightlift properly. So as little kids, if you have proper footwear as a little kid, you're going to run perfectly. There's just no way around it. But over time, we lose that skill and it gets real sloppy. But people don't realize they've lost the skill to run. And so when they're out there running, they don't even know they're running wrong. They don't even think to ask, hey, what am I doing wrong? My body hurts. They just like, oh, that's just what
You can,
happens with running. When
right,
you
and you
run,
can
you get
muscle
hurt.
through that.
Right.
You can muscle through the sloppy technique on a run. I agree.
Absolutely. Well, I think we covered that topic a little bit better than we did on the original episode 3, but I think it's good. I think we hit on some good points there, um, especially for those athletes who think it's necessary to run so much. But yep.
Yeah, man, it's I say this to everyone because I took certifications running because I knew I was doing it wrong and I was teaching it wrong. It wasn't until I got certified that the epiphany I had is that running is the most complex body weight exercise known to man, and no one's been taught how to do it. And I think we need more professional running coaches to be able to teach that skill.
Yeah, man, totally agree. Well, if you want to catch some marathon running, I'm sure it's in the Olympics. I mean, that stuff's kind of entertaining to watch, but no way am I going to watch, a 2-hour race of
Not
those
doing
guys.
it.
No.
I watch the highlights.
Yeah, watch the highlights. Exactly. All right, man. I think that's going to finish it up. Next week, we'll check back in with, of course, more Olympics talk. Hopefully, this medal count that I have pulled up, oh, man, there it is. This 12 gets bumped up, in a week's time, probably to like 40. That'd be nice. Who knows? But we're off to a good start. And, yeah, tonight's going to be some good USA action with USA gymnastics teams and, of course, Team USA basketball. So good stuff. Anything else, Mario, to say peace out?
That's it, man. Watch the games. This is athleticism at its finest, and it's one of the most exciting times of the year for me.
You betcha. See you guys next week. If you have any
Bye, guys.
questions, post them down below. See ya.